Your culture matters so much more than you think it does. It matters so much more than your KPIs. I said it. And I love KPIs. I love numbers and tracking things. But the way your people engage with each other, the way they trust each other, the way they collaborate, the way they support each other matters more than all of your KPIs.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we talk about company culture. I think a lot of people look at culture and think, yeah, it's pretty good. We're executing well. We're achieving our goals. We like each other. Is that enough? Well, I would say no. I would say that you're just scratching the surface on having a very effective, highly optimized culture. So if you want to really understand where you are, then I've created a tool for my clients and I'm going to share it with you. Just give it to you absolutely for free because I want you to have this information. I want you to be the best leader you can be. My name is Gene Hammett. I'm an executive coach. We also do leadership development, helping managers become leaders inside of fast growth organizations. We've been doing this for years and years and years, more than 12 as a certified coach, but been working with fast growth companies for more than 5 years. We've worked with hundreds of fast growth companies. In fact, we've worked with more fast growth companies than any other leadership development company out there. And we really want you to be a better leader. We want you to have a strong culture, and we want you to truly grow your business from where it is today so that it's easier to run, it's more fun to run, and that you truly are leading them through the challenges in front of them. Now, as a leader, you're probably listening to this going, well, what can I focus on next to grow my business? Well, I'm going to share with you something that might not be on your radar, which is your culture. Your culture matters so much more than you think it does. It matters so much more than your KPIs. I said it. And I love KPIs. I love numbers and tracking things. But the way your people engage with each other, the way they trust each other, the way they collaborate, the way they support each other matters more than all of your KPIs. I said it. Why I say that is because I've been on this other side of companies that are performing really well, and I see it happening when things get out of alignment, when things are not going as well, when turnover starts to pick up, or something's happening inside of one of their teams. It's a little bit of chaos. In fact, it's a lot of chaos because it really is tough to lead people through these changes of culture. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up with you is the stages of company culture maturity. This is a tool I've been using with my clients for a while. There's 6 stages, and I want to walk you through them. We'll put them up on the screen to guide you. If you want the full download of this, just send me an email, gene@genehammett.com. Happy to share it with you. I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to give you everything I can for you to be the company that you want to be and to grow into the culture that you really want to have as you grow this company to be meaningful and a big part of your legacy. So if you think about culture, it is really just about your people and how they communicate together, how they trust each other, how they work together. And so in the 6 phases, we've got to not only identify the good parts, but we've got to identify the bad parts. So the first level behind this, in level 1 of your culture maturity, is toxic. And so toxic is there's absolute lack of trust and high levels of fear. And they're just, you're not communicating the way you want to. There's just a lot of micromanagement, even though no one self-assessed them as micromanagers, but it's there. When you have a toxic organization, there's nothing that seems like it's going well. You might be hitting your numbers, but that doesn't mean that your culture is strong. Second level of this culture maturity is reactive. So there might be more levels in between here, but this is, where I see a lot of companies go, we're just really too reactive. We are in a good place. Reactive means you're short-term focused. You're focused on the immediate and not the midterm and long-term within your teams. CEOs are absolutely responsible for the long-term vision of a company, but you as a team leader, if you're happen to be listening to this, you're responsible for the vision of your team. What's it going to look like over the next year to 3 years? How are you going to execute at a higher level? How are you guys going to operate with other teams? All of that's up to you, and you've got to be looking around the corner. If you're short-term focused, you're going to be reactive by default. It also inside of reactive is a blame-oriented culture. quick to for people to when they're called on it, when they're questioned on something, they will blame someone else really fast. Strong cultures don't do that. And so finally, there's just not enough collaboration because we're so reactive. We're more firefighting than anything else. That's level 2. All right, level 3 is where we get to a point where a lot of people would love to be stable. They would love to be at a place where it's not always a challenge. We don't always have a people problem. I know that a lot of growing organizations have a lot of people, so there's always something. But stable cultures are good from a perspective of their ability to get the work done, but they're also risk averse. They're not actually innovating and pushing the boundaries of things. They're just kind of plodding along. We're focused on the SOPs. We're focused on, being stable. And that's what we're really focused on and thriving for. But that's not the highest level of your culture. The next level, level 4, is proactive. So if you take reactive and you take the opposite of it, you're going to have proactive. It's not that easy, but you are seeing more trust. You are seeing people that are midterm and long-term focused across the teams, and they're working well together in that proactiveness. It's not just looking at the big future or just looking at today's problems. It's the balance of those things and knowing when to prioritize and knowing when to let some fires burn and knowing when you have to address them, because not everything has the same priority. So that's the 4 levels of culture so far. We have toxic, we have reactive, we have stable, and now we have proactive. The top 2 tiers of this, I do see from time to time, but a lot of people would assess themselves there probably prematurely until they really understand this. But I'm going to go ahead and give them to you because I want you to understand that this is where we're really looking to create or create a culture that aligns with one of these 2. So number 5 is aligned. You want an aligned culture. That'd be great, right? Emphasis is on collaboration, a continuous improvement. We are empowering people. We are a culture that is constantly learning. Now, aligned doesn't mean we're always aligned and we're just always on the same page. No, it just means we have systems in place. We have communication and trust in place that makes that a lot easier. So we want to make sure that we are working toward having an aligned culture, and leaders are responsible for creating that. Now, the 6th level behind this is elevated. This is sort of the highest level of culture. You can fit a lot of stuff inside this, but absolute high levels of trust, collaboration, innovation is ingrained into us. And we actually have learning is such a central part of who we are as an organization that we're willing to stand in those tough conversations. We're willing to have those tough conversations and get feedback from others. All of this makes up what I have looked at is the stages of company culture maturity. I wanted to share it with you because when you know where you are, you can get to the next step a little bit easier. It's kind of like getting in your car, you punch in your GPS. My wife can't go anywhere without it, but I'm sure you can. I'm just joking. I make the same joke with her. She doesn't laugh either. So that being said, you want to make sure you know where you're going, right? When you put it in the GPS, that's what this is. We want to know what the next step is. You don't need to know what 3 are or 5 because you're going to systematically get from one to the next. You don't really jump stages. Is it possible? Yes, but I would be concentrated on identifying where you are in the 6 stages and then having a conversation with the people on my team that I trust the most, that I lean on the most to say, I would love to see where you think we are and for us to create a plan for this. Now, I want to point something out here. Don't go into this as a CEO saying, I think we're stable. We need to be proactive or whatever the 2 that you choose. If you're the CEO, your responsibility is not to tell them where they are. It's to use this as a conversation to ask your people where they are. Because when you voice your opinion first, people hear that and they are tainted. No matter what you say, no matter what kind of relationship you have or what kind of trust, it's just a natural kind of thing. Founders and CEOs have this natural gravitas that people want to get on board with and stay in alignment with. So your job is not to speak first. Your job is to actually share this, have a conversation, see where we are as a group, see what people think, discuss it, debate it, argue for where you think you are, and figure out where you really are. That's your first step. Your second step is, what could we do to move just one step closer toward elevated? Doesn't have to be going to all the way to elevated, but just one step closer. Maybe you're going from toxic to reactive. I would love that for you. Maybe you're going from reactive to stable. Fantastic. Whatever it is, one at a time. create a plan and go execute on that plan. And if it goes well, I'd love feedback. I'd love for you to share with me how you're experiencing this, how, what impact it's making. If it's making none, great. I'll get on a phone call with you and help you unlock it. If it's working, I just want to hear that it's working and that you are using what we're creating to move your business forward, grow your leadership, and improve your culture across your company. All this being said, I love sharing with you the models that we're using with our clients. Hopefully you find them valuable. If you want to get this downloaded to you, just go to genehammett.com or gene@genehammett.com. Just email me and I'll gladly send it over to you. Otherwise, go out there and have an amazing day. And as always, when you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank and lead with courage.